Hey everybody, this is Ben. We're going to do some director's commentary. This is episode 4, the first of the party scenes. So let's get into it.
This is a tough span that you're hearing. There are occasions they're really awesome.
They're really awesome.
Dope.
They were really good, Ben.
I also love that we come in
really
chronologically on this one.
One of those kisses.
It's fun and it's very in keeping with the whole like found footage style.
So in sync, and
It's still on.
I mean, he kisses by
That
the
dress is
book.
Evie's. I
I
stole it.
don't know what kind of books you've been reading.
She looks good in it.
She stole it forever. Evie doesn't
I
have
also love the lighting because this was, filmed at, 9 a.m. and it looks exactly like about
Life change.
midnight.
But it's not like you can date him or really even
Yeah, I never thought I'd be putting on makeup for a fraternity party at 8 in the morning.
decide.
It's too early for parties.
Furiously make
Obviously, you're not doing college right,
share
Imogen.
with you the gory details.
True.
So I don't know why I have to suffer.
I'm sorry, why can't I date him?
You got that
I mean,
lovely
as far as
Shakespearean
I'm
dramatic
concerned,
irony
I'm
going in this whole
single,
episode
he's
too.
gorgeous, and that kiss was
Yeah, I
spectacular.
Yeah, and that spectacular kiss was a one-time thing because you know who.
I love to think that other people are having this conversation that you don't know his
I
name
didn't even ask
conversation.
him his name.
Yeah.
God, Jules, why? You can't just make out with strangers and not even introduce
We
yourself.
were distracted.
Yeah, well, it's kind of common courtesy.
If you notice in the
Fine,
background,
that is
right
on
between Nancy and
His
Jules,
name
there's a
is
picture of Cliff.
Romeo, if you even care.
Cliff and you.
Count Gamma.
Yeah, Cole Von Golan is my college brother. He's fantastic and nothing like Cliff.
Most loathing.
Yeah,
He's really a sweet guy. Don't.
You
He's
know
really sweet.
Nothing like Cliff.
stupid
Not art
not
imitating.
at all. Goes back until like 4 fucking ever, and because of your dad and because of Cliff, you're.
I
just
think this
letting
is
know
actually
it's
one of the
really
first episodes you
sorry,
really
but
feel the feud's
it's
presence.
like
Because it was so split up in the
Yes.
last couple ones where you don't necessarily see the two fighting one another, and then here Nancy's tossing it over the head, really saying, "Oh no, you can't because of the feud." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Before, it almost seemed like a game. They're just talking about it like, oh, we're going to crash a party. Like, oh, screw those guys. Here, it seems serious. Like, this is something to be taken
Too early,
with some
soon,
amount of gravity.
unknown, and known too late. Leave it to me to fall.
Well, I think
for a
it's
loathing
easier
enemy.
for it to be taken with gravity by someone like Jules, who
Yes, I
has
can't do this right now.
Cliff, where
Okay,
the
fine,
boys
just
from MTG that we see don't really have an emotional investment in it until Monty, obviously. But for Jules, it's like a family
Okay, but
issue,
how do you
which was a
insert
cool
footage into
carryover
a
from
scene that's
the
17
Shakespeare.
That's Jem Wilner. That's the
I
guy
also
who helped us with the
Capitalist being
party.
How you doing?
It was
Far
freezing
from
outside.
movie,
This
bro.
was,
Good. Hey, have a good time in there, alright?
yeah, big thanks to Jem and DTV for letting us use their house.
Welcome behind
Show and
Also,
here's some of our
big
wonderful
thanks
extras.
to Imogen, Emma, Claire, and I for making like 100 masquerade masks.
So
Yeah.
It
many.
came out
Oh,
so
we had so much fun though.
everywhere.
Oh, it was great. It was so much fun making them. We got to do arts and crafts during college, so.
After everything
Ben, I think this is one of the first times that you and I like really worked directly with one another
Yeah.
to choreograph this whole
There's my
Wolfie
And we
Jack
have
thing.
there are 3 rehearsal rolls with no extras and no costume that I was looking through the other day. It's pretty wild to see us just running through it over and over.
What's up?
Also, well done making this look like a full party. I think we had maybe 10 extras.
Yeah, 10 to 15.
We really get into the thick of it and just make sure that every camera movement has like at least 3 or 4 of them involved. And when you have, the texture, some in the front, some in the back, it looks pretty full.
Also, want to shout out to my girl Ryan, or as I like to call her, Bobcat, on the other right there, just absolutely killing it in this scene. She is so. I just love watching her. She's so funny.
She was great.
Totally sold this Cliff character of being this larger than life.
The definition of a woo girl.
Yeah, I mean, we asked Cole to play this role because he has this presence, but it's a kinder, softer presence in real life. But he really can command a room like this, and he just kills it with the...
And those film theory people out there will notice that it's also like a low angle, wide angle, Dutch angle sort of situation with Cliff, and I've always tried to frame him in a way that was a little intimidating and scary and never quite level. He's always sort of on a diagonal.
Yeah. Also, luckily, Cole is about like 6'4", 6'5", so he is just intimidating.
Yeah.
But he's so lovable!
Yes, but he also brought the intimidating presence game to the series, like, just by mere presence.
I wish you could see this, but as Cliff is walking through the party, there's all these great little moments blocked where people get out of his way, or he, flirts with a girl or whatever it is. There was so much work that went into those moments. You just
Like
don't
that one
see
right
it.
there.
Like that one right there.
Shout out to Tufts now alumna Morgan Birch.
Welcome to Kappa Alpha Psi. I am Senior Stunner Cliff Kane, President of Kappa, and future CEO of some
Cole
worldwide
just does a really
corporation.
cool job
It is
with this
appropriate to
character. I
swoon.
think definitely he was
Most
one
of
of the actors who had a lot of
And yet
ideas
you love
and
me.
questions and comments coming in.
I have comments and questions.
But like seriously, as a director, it was nice for him to come up to me and be like, "What's this all about? Like, why?" Because he's also a director and he has a very directorial mind, so he wanted to know what I thought about things, and it was cool to see someone who thought that way.
Arjun is so cute.
Have you met Pierre? He's a really great guy.
So part of the challenge of this episode is see if you can see where Ben has cut.
Pierre.
And all the party episodes have a lot of cuts in them. I'm just
lot.
gonna sit back and watch this delicious Andy DeLeon acting right now.
Go away, Ty. Pierre and I were just talking.
A little rack focus here.
You know what type of reputation these guys
Pierre just walking out. So awkward.
The I
Vixen.
should go is like also one of my favorite lines in the series.
Not that I don't
Flawless.
appreciate that, Ty, but you do know that was the boy Cliff set me
This
up
is
with,
like-
right?
It totally works with Ty, but this is such an Andy line.
I think this is one of the few really distinct moments where you understand why Nancy likes Ty. You know, he has that. Oh, text me when you get home because I want to know you're safe. And I was just trying to help you. I thought he was bothering you. And you see that he does mean well. He just
No distress.
he
sounds
goes a
like
little
you. Why
overboard
don't
in
you guys have a
execution, and
friendship?
he is a little aggressive about how he tries to protect his family, but he is ultimately trying to protect them.
Gonna take
Yeah,
that
I think
drunk
with
ass home.
with Ty, with the Tybalt character, we really tried to give him more humanity, and that many times he's the villain. He dies, and he tries to make it a big deal by having the nurse cry about it and
So the
family and
party, I
everything,
met
but
Pierre,
he's more of a plot
I
device
think
than
I told
anything,
all my
and I really wanted people
obligations,
to
and I just gonna go
in some ways
to-
sympathize with Ty as well. It kind of added to the moral ambiguity of what's happening in this
Oh
story.
yeah, I mean in episode 10,
Yeah.
Ty does a kind of crappy thing, but Monty really is.
Oh, you're muted again.
Ty does a crappy thing, but like Monty, I think is the real villain of like episode 10. I mean, he's like, he could have killed Ty.
Oh God, yeah.
I think that, trying to. I mean, I think when the series is over, the villain is Cliff. Like,
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
very clearly. But I think that both Ty and Monty have, like, villainous aspects to them. And I think it's a commentary on how things like this feud can change people. Because I don't think Ty and Monty, as they're written for this series specifically, are bad people, but they're good people who can be convinced to do bad things.
I mean, even Cliff, Jules talks to the fact that he always had violent tendencies, but he wasn't this bad. So there is an element of him getting swept up in this feud that's been created between the two groups. And that's not to justify his actions in any way. He definitely had to be a villain in this story, but there wasn't as much of a history before.
But I think that's one of the great things about the writing in this series is that so many a large handful of the characters have these flawed moments where they make a terrible decision, but that ultimately you can still find redeeming qualities in almost all of them, and they're still people, and they're still they still have friends and they have relationships, and you do understand why even in those moments where they lash out or what have you.
Yeah. Moral ambiguity is kind of the name of the game in this series. Something that I saw playing Nancy was that I had what I thought was like a pretty like people really liked me, especially earlier in the series.
Yeah.
And then as time progressed, some people started falling off and going like, what is she doing? She's making the wrong decision. Why would she do that? And I think that it all the way 100% everyone had been Team Nancy and I was like the A+ good girl of the series, like that would have been so boring. I think part of the reason why we like characters is because we get frustrated with them.
You can question her method all day long, but I don't think we've seen anyone really question her motive.
Right. That's an excellent way of putting it.
This episode was really to introduce the feud a little bit more, and so you can start seeing what they're contending with. And with the frat, I had so much fun with it. I think actually being able to go into a party and seeing this world helped you visualize what they're up against.
I have a funny story about this episode. So I had to come a little bit late to filming because I had a final. These party scenes were actually filmed during finals week. I had to come a little late because I had a directing final, ironically enough. And I showed up and like got changed really quick into my party outfit and just jumped in to be an extra without really asking what was going on. So Cole's like up there and he's giving his big speech and like at like a pause, I just like lift my empty bottle of Andre into the air and I go, woo! And then Ben is like, what the fuck? Cut! And apparently we were just supposed to be mouthing the word woo. So not only did I shout and ruin the whole take, but I was the only person in the room who made noise. So it was like Cole paused, it was dead silent, and Evie was just like, yay! And it was like one of the most embarrassing moments on Jules and Monty for me.
You and I
Emma and I have a funny Evie as well. So I was posing as an extra. It turns out we didn't need me because I'm not in any of the shots, but I threw on a mask.
You were a little bit, I think, at the end.
A jacket, maybe a little bit, but I was just an extra body in the scenes. And so Emma and I were standing next to each other during Cliff's speech, and afterwards, when Jules starts to walk away, Emma and I would always get to talking, like mouthing stuff, and I would always hit on her, and she would always like slap me and walk away. And on one of those takes, drunk-ass Evie just walks over. Emma, do you want to take over?
Sure. So she...
Not actually.
No, but like drunk Nancy. So I turned and I was, I gave her a little like, oh my God, you won't believe what just happened, and she just beelines over to Ed and she goes, hey, that's my friend. This is one of the most accurate portrayals of like the drunk Biddy that I have seen, and it's lucky that the camera was long gone because we could not hold it together.